was awesome.
Dune
Take
2
3.
is awesome. Dune 2 was the best film I've ever seen.
I loved it.
I know you loved it. I loved it.
I cried.
I cried when I had to watch it too,
Yes.
but not in a bad way.
No. They were definitely not tears of sadness.
No, joy, absolute joy.
The MK Ultra program did an excellent job with this film.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that a completely woke cast would have made something this
unordinary?
It was just so good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that visionary director, the guy who messed up Blade Runner because he didn't understand the film, none of that here.
Definitely
he absolutely stuck to the source material as much as they said he did in that article.
Yeah, and he definitely didn't fuck this up.
No, I mean no one could have done a better job.
Yeah.
No one, not anybody at all. It was almost perfect. It was. I'd watch it again if I could. Had to.
Yeah.
I mean,
if
it was
forced
visionary. Visionary. Is it fair to say genius?
Oh, it's beyond genius.
Beyond genius.
It's so genius that you won't understand it.
I don't understand why I watched it.
I don't understand anything. Nothing makes sense anymore. Is there a God? Can we stop now? What have we done so far?
No, 3. It's 4.
Okay.
It's 4. Is that how we're going to start? Trying to work out numbers that we can count on one hand? Is that who we really are? 4.
Watch it be 5.
It's 4.
So yeah, welcome back to...
But it's 4.
I hate you.
And with good reason.
There are 4 lights.
I don't think this is chapter 4. I think this is 3, part 2. Because you wouldn't really get this without watching the other one. Because there's no reason that we would watch this film unless
that's true.
We'd argued about it in the last film.
For a second, I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but okay, yeah.
We watched Chuck Norris, Top Dog.
We did. And I enjoyed it thoroughly compared to The Color Out of Space.
Well, this is our 4th movie together in this new series, and it was by far the best experience. The worst movie by a long way.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It's really.
I mean, granted, there was whiskey involved, but
lots of whiskey involved.
It was fucking hilarious.
I think it's a whiskey movie. I think if you sit down with your friends and just chill out, drink too much, it's a good film. Yeah. it's so bad. It's. I just forgot how bad Chuck Norris is. Another movie, sure. Will there be spin kicks? I like those spin kicks. Oh, it's mostly spin kicks? Okay. What? A dog? Will I have to kiss the dog? Will there be a nude scene with the dog? But can there be? as an actor and a person.
The dog was legit a better actor than Chuck Norris.
Was that a dog? It looked like a big mop. The broom handle was missing. Not a police dog.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of dog that was.
It was a mop. I don't know what the casting was. Police dog required. As much dissimilar to a police dog as possible. And then there's this training scene where it's running through the house, tearing things up. It's like,
working with that dog again. That's not the way he was trained. He cheats. Look at my outfit.
Really?
what? That makes no sense.
Well, he survives a whole bullet. He gets shot with his human partner.
Yeah, he gets shot and thrown. That was an awesome scene. They throw this dog out into the river, and somehow it's like Palpatine's back. Somehow it survives, and it comes back. And we don't really know how long, but there's a reference to it being several months.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's fine. The human guy, he's not so much. He's dead.
He's dead. Yeah. Which I love the bit where you probably want some context for this. This film is shit. It's made by his brother, right?
Yeah.
Chuck Norris's brother. His
Written
actual
and
brother.
directed.
Yeah. And I think they were trying to get into a more child-friendly audience. They were trying to dumb it down for the kid action thing where you've got Stop or My Mum Will Shoot and Kindergarten Cop. And I think they were trying to milk into that territory a little bit. So it's more kid-friendly. There's a kid in it for no fucking reason. He has no part of the plot whatsoever.
He just knows the dog.
He knows the dog, and there's an action scene where he's driving along, and he finally turns up after everything's finished.
Yeah, there was no reason for that.
Yeah. And it was quite dramatic. They've got the dramatic music. He's going all the way through, and nothing fucking happens. It's
no payoff.
So it's a kind of, it's not really sure what it wants to be. There's kid scenes in it. There's lots of spin kicks.
Yes.
Lots of spin kicks. And there's some really out of place comedy that just doesn't work at all.
In fact, while you were watching this film with your requisite bottle of whiskey, just take a shot every time Chuck Norris spin kicks somebody in the face.
I don't think it's a fair game because it does take a while to warm up. So you don't want to watch too much of this sober.
No.
So you're going to have to take a couple of shots anyway because it is Chuck Norris. So you know there's going to be some spin kicks.
Oh, it is.
That
first explosion though is epic.
It's really good. I mean,
they had to have spent half of their budget just on that shot.
Yeah, I mean, they blow up a building and they legit blow up a fucking building. And guys are running through it. Yeah. They got the guys running through the explosion. It's coming behind them. It's probably a lot further than it looks.
It was very Lethal Weapon-y.
The whole film wanted to be Lethal Weapon so badly. And what's funny is Chuck Norris is a professional martial artist, and Mel Gibson is a professional racist. And he did a much, much better job of looking like a martial artist than Chuck Norris does. Although, to be fair, Chuck Norris did look more like an alcoholic.
I'm still on suspension, Captain. You're lucky I even answered it.
Well, he probably was at the time.
or at least after watching this. Yeah. It was, I mean, you look at Lethal Weapon and Mel Gibson, you think, he's pretty badass. And you watch this and think, oh, Chuck, stop now.
Stop, Chuck.
Stop now. He just does roundhouse kicks. That's it.
That's his whole thing.
He does the odd punch, but it's just kick. And
then there's a special jump kick finishing move.
Yeah.
When he breaks that one out, you know they're in trouble.
Yeah. The algorithm has figured it out by this point. It's like, we can build a Chuck Norris on a budget. Yeah. But for all of this, it was really entertaining. If you can watch it with your tongue firmly entrenched in your tongue, in your cheek, it's a great movie. I can't say it. I'm too excited. It was fun.
It was a fun movie.
It was a fun movie.
It was infinite, as I said before, it was infinitely more fun than Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
It's more fun than Dark City, because Dark City's not a fun film.
Yeah. But no, the explosion, I mean, it really set the bar. In the day, you forget how far we've come in terms of CGI and fake effects, where everything is just painted on. And this was an actual explosion because
practical effects.
Yeah, and it looked great until the dog went in to rescue the baby.
Yeah. And he somehow swaddles the baby up and carries him out.
Carries it out in his mouth.
The dog's a hero.
This is the opposite of the Save the Cat. So they do the Save the Cat scene to establish, obviously it's not always a cat, they do something heroic to establish who the good guy is. This time the dog saves the baby. It's a bit of a reversal. And it's so fucking bad. We roared with laughter. I mean, we'd only had a couple of shots by this point, and the dog goes in, and the what is he, owner? Is he the owner or
he's a detective handler?
Why would a detective have a partner as a dog? That makes no sense. I mean, none of this film made any fucking sense. No. But yeah, he says, if you do this again, you're going on report or something. And the dog does it anyway. He looks back and he looks forward. No, I'm going in. And he goes in and he comes out with his baby. He rescues the baby to applause.
Ladies, has her baby still inside? Second floor, south end.
See, the dog's got the baby.
And then the detective goes hunting for the guys who did it and just pulls up on a pier, and there they are running away.
Oh yeah, there they are.
There they are. There's no way he got from there to there. And this whole scene of him going in with a baby probably took at least 25, 30 minutes. But there he is. And this is basically the plot of the film. Is there they are, all the way through.
All the way.
There's no detective.
Because that happens again later, where Chuck Norris has the dog. He just parks somewhere. He's been driving. He parks. He gets out of the car and he tells the dog, I sure wish I knew where y'all were that night. And the dog just walks off the screen. And the next scene is they found the pier.
Yeah. And he says to him, I think I know what you're trying to tell me. Brilliant dialogue, just brilliant.
Well, all the way throughout the movie, there's a lot of connotations towards Chuck Norris and the dog being like the same character.
Yeah, they've got the same record. The captain's going through the list, and their records match.
I am the dog.
Well, they're the same but opposite.
Yeah.
Chuck is more of an animal. Well, let's call him what he is. He's Jake Wilder. He's Wilder.
Yeah, that name says it all, Jake Wilder.
Yeah. I wish I was Jake Wilder.
Yeah. And then I'm really not sure who diversity detective lady was.
Again, she was nobody. She was just pasted on.
Yeah, there was no reason for her to be there.
There was no need for any of these characters to be there. I mean, even Chuck Norris, really. I mean, he's investigating some guy, because he's not his partner. He didn't give a shit about it. Never heard of him.
C4.
The C4, yeah, the C4 was awesome. So this old man, it's funny, he goes in the boat, the detective goes looking for, and he finds all these weapons, and they're all pointing guns at him as they catch you. I'm a cop. Of course they fucking know you're a cop. That's why they'll kill you. You've just discovered them. I'm a cop. Really?
I don't care. He's just like, I don't care. And shoots him and the dog.
Yeah.
And then the scene where they throw them off the ship, I don't know what they used as the rag dolls, but it's fucking hilarious because it looks like they really threw the old man and the dog off.
He's a big guy as well, and he goes, and the dog looked real as well. I mean, on this budget, it probably was a homeless man and his dog. It's cheaper.
Yeah, it might have been LA somewhere.
Yeah. It looked really. It was realistic enough to make us laugh.
Yeah.
It was, as it went out off the boat. Kind of reminded me of the Police Squad scene where O.J. Simpson gets thrown off, but it was much more realistic. It was much better, and it was funnier for it. It's just, and then the car's another slice of nonsense. This is months later, and for some reason they just give Chuck Norris the guy's car.
Yeah, that was also weird. Like, here, also take his car.
Yeah.
Because it's got the dog's toys in it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it would be impossible to move that. So it just gives him the car.
But at no point do we see Chuck Norris's car. I don't know that he had a car.
No. So he's just walking around. Well, he's not, is he? Well, I don't know, because his house is fucked and it's full of takeaway boxes, so maybe he doesn't go out. Wait here, I'll get the lube.
And everyone must live on his block because when they show up, they like call, I'm coming over, and then 30 seconds later they're there.
Yeah. Well, we were joking about that. Someone phones up, I'll come over, okay. And then there's a knock on the door within seconds. It's the kid. And then the kid comes in, and then literally 20 seconds later, there's another knock. Oh, it's her. Oh, yeah, because otherwise it'd be weird. Yeah. There literally wouldn't have been enough time for her to hang up her phone and walk to her car. So presumably she didn't. Maybe she lives next door.
Yeah, they're neighbors.
It was a very small station house. But she doesn't work with him.
No.
I mean, she works with the dog.
Yeah, and that's never completely explained. No. It's like the dog's your new partner.
Yeah.
But also she's the dog's partner, but she's not your partner.
It's like they've done Lethal Weapon, but they've said it's got to be a dog this time instead of a crazy guy. Okay, but let's have the crazy guy too, so they can both be the dog. Okay, and the dog needs a counselor because we had one in Lethal Weapon. Okay.
Yeah, she's the conscience of the film.
Yeah. But she carries a gun, which is way too big for her. There's no way she. I mean, it's a Glock 17, I would imagine, at that era, and it's massive. She can barely handle it, and she can't hold it properly.
She can't be 5.5 feet tall.
No. And she's she's just there for diversity. She can't act
at
all. I mean,
I don't know what the point of her character was.
No, she's good enough to be with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, but I mean, we could act with Chuck Norris.
Yeah, and God, it's so bad, and he looks so old and sad.
He really embodies. I don't know if it was just like a character transformation, but he really just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he's pulling his phone through the Lethal Weapon style. The room is trash. Pulling the phone along, and he rolls out of bed and he hides the dead prostitutes, and he's pulling his phone in, and he's what? Well, I want to talk to you, you fucking idiot.
Why do you normally call someone?
Yeah. That'd be strange. Want to talk to me? And of course, he's on suspension because he's a bad guy. And it's like the save the cat moment. Everything's explained. Yeah, he's on suspension because he's just so tough. We never find out why.
No, but we've got to call him back in because this case needs him.
Yeah, and he's not an alcoholic. We never see him. The only thing he puts in his mouth is a banana.
Yeah,
but, for the kids, we got to show them some vitamins. We wouldn't want to sell them short. It's a kids' film after all. And it was just utter nonsense.
It is.
There's
his
whole
suit.
scenes.
His suit it's morphing.
Yeah, he starts with a blue shirt.
Yeah.
And then a sort of jacket goes over the top, and then it darkens.
Yeah, and then it gets a little bigger.
Yeah. It ends up like LA Law, like some woman in it. It looks like a triangle by the end. It's like a little walking upside down triangle. He's spin kicking in them, and a gust of wind and he'd be gone.
It's utter nonsense.
The first lot of villains he deals with, they send the clowns.
Ninja clowns.
Ninja clowns. They're jumping over the fences and rolling
because
around.
Everybody in this universe is a karate master.
Yeah. And then he destroys their car. The police are driving after him.
Ford Taurus.
He just shoots the car in front of the police, pointing at the police, and it hits perfectly, and it rolls around. He kicks the car. It rotates.
Yeah, the car spins.
It's just.
And then he says like the worst line that's ever been uttered in the history of Hollywood.
It's hard to narrow this down. Go on.
Yeah, but the guy, the clown, just falls out of the car and he points his gun down at him and says, "Freeze, bozo."
Yeah, I mean that.
Oh my God.
That was pretty bad, but
Chuck.
It gets worse.
Oh, it does get worse.
I mean, at one point he goes to the pier, and we see some dudes who we don't see again, and he just rips a page out because this is evidence now. And that's never referenced again either. That's him being a detective. That's it. We don't get.
Well, also in the beginning of the film, the two guys that the cop, the old man, follows to the pier are wearing like these blue jumpsuits, and then due to telepathy, everybody else knows that bad guys wear blue jumpsuits
all the way through the film. They're all in this, or presumably the same blue jumpsuit, unless there's hundreds of them. Yeah. Which there is in the spin kick scene.
all of the blue jumpsuit people are evil.
Yeah. Which we obviously know. Unconsciously, we pick that up.
Yeah.
And they've all got mullets.
Yeah.
Including Chuck.
Even though they're supposed to be skinheads.
Yeah, it actually says they're skinheads. Because Chuck Norris can't just fight ordinary bad guys. It must be terrorists. And I wonder who funded this film, because it has to be skinheads. It has to be white supremacists. Suspicious.
We don't know what Sergeant Swanson stumbled onto before he was killed, but it's starting to look like a major conspiracy. Lieutenant Wilder will head the task force, and I've asked Lieutenant Curtins from our SWAT unit to attend this meeting. Mark?
Yeah, it's a conspiracy, all right. These guys have taken over the banks and the media and the government.
And they go all in on that.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And this film has not aged well. They've got these guys ranting. They've got the blonde. I don't think he had blue eyes, did he?
It's hard to tell because it's like, it's a shitty quality.
Yeah, we had to rip it from Facebook. We couldn't. You can't download it. You can't buy it. You can't get it. It's almost impossible to find. So we really struggled with this one. So we could barely make out the details. Yeah. But it was. I've seen him around. I think he was definitely a villain in Knight Rider. He was definitely in Airwolf.
The main villain. Yeah, that actor's been in all sorts of things.
Only as a villain.
Yeah. He
is the villain. He's quite well spoken, but not quite English. Yeah. He's got a sort of almost English accent, so he plays the kind of bad guy.
The vaguely Eastern European bad guy.
Yeah, he's doing a speech, rousing the crowd up, and
Time to get rid of the Jews who still control our money and our destiny! Are you sick and tired of the blacks who are raping and murdering our women? Are you fed up with the millions of illegals crossing our borders and stealing our jobs?
I don't know. I'm on board.
He was making a lot of sense there for a minute,
Yeah.
and then he just kind of veers off.
But not that much. As I say, this film has not aged well. I mean,
I don't know. Let's hear what the guy has to say.
yeah, just okay. Okay, you've earned yourself 2 minutes of interest. Okay.
Has anybody just asked them not to blow things up with C4?
Yeah, the C4. The detective finds a block of C4 and he just cuts it with a knife. It's C4. I'm going to put that in my pocket. And then later on, the captain just throws it to Chuck. It was, oh, right, C4, I'll keep that. And it's never used again. It's they're just walking around with explosives in their pockets.
C4 just hanging out.
Yeah. And for some reason, the dog has to find drugs. But instead of finding... The police can't find the drugs. They've searched the house. They can't find anything. But the dog can. So they find a 7-foot arsehole in a wardrobe. He's just hiding in a wardrobe. He's gigantic and he's beating up Chuck Norris. Of course,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Chuck
that.
gets the upper hand. But it took the dog to find a 7-foot man
Yeah,
in a
hiding
wardrobe.
in a closet.
It was... And they all clap. I don't really know why they clap. It was quite a good scene. He got kicked out. He goes right through the roof. And again, not a small special effect.
Well, the
It's pretty decent.
dog runs up to the window after the guy gets kicked out, and so all the police down on the ground floor think that the dog did it.
Yeah. It's a running joke that he's getting all the credit for Chuck's spinkicks, I guess. Yeah.
But we're also shown that the dog is a badass.
Yeah, I mean, they literally underline that and try and force that on you. They do a training scene where he's launched into a building like a bloody missile, a hairy rocket. Middle Eastern, presumably. And
we're cancelled.
and he just goes in, and the guy's wearing all the armour, and he just tears him apart. There's, for some reason, a plank of wood sticking out of his arm. I have no idea what that's meant to be. He's going, I'll never... This dog cheats. You're not playing fucking chess. You're fighting the dog.
Your job was to go into the building and let the dog attack you. What are you bitching about?
And all the other dogs are proper dogs. They're Rottweilers and Alsatians and proper police dogs.
German Shepherds.
Well, we call them Alsatians, and they're German. So, and they're proper dogs.
Yeah.
And this thing's just a mutt. I mean, it looks like something.
Yeah, I have no idea what kind of dog, what breed that was.
Because when it comes out with the baby, we were joking. They should have used a proper dog. Oh my God, he's rescued most of the baby, like a pit bull or something.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, well, okay. But I'm the wrong one for saying Middle Eastern rockets are hairy. I'm the arsehole.
Both things can be true. We can both be assholes.
We can? Hooray! So yeah, what a classy movie. The ending makes pretty much no sense. There's a love and peace festival. There's literally a diversity festival. Yeah. So the Pope comes to it for some reason, or I don't know,
head rabbi.
Some rabbi, yeah. Lots of national dressed black people like they did in all the 80s shows, where these guys would just turn up and be just lovely, not in ships invading your coastline at all. What? You said we could be assholes.
I don't know what YouTube thinks about it.
I don't know if I care.
I'm not sure I care.
Hell, you are banned! You're banned!
And there's some naughty white supremacists. They've got machine guns.
And C4.
And it's the same machine guns the police have.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same props. And the clowns.
And the clowns.
And the clowns.
Never forget about the clowns.
And what were they training for? Because they had a training ground, and they're all running around doing training. And some guy says to the villain, "You're doing very well." He goes, "Oh, thank you, I know. But at what?"
Yeah, but after the shootout with the Ford Taurus, they never wear the masks again.
You mean the first Ford Taurus?
Yeah, where Chuck kicks it and...
No, it wasn't a Ford Taurus.
Well, whatever piece of shit car that was.
Yeah, well, the Ford Taurus was... They had a Ford Taurus
They never
estate.
used the clown masks again.
Yeah, well, they didn't. The first scene, they got these two guys in suits, and they're carrying a machine pistol, what is it, an Intratec or something?
I don't remember.
And they're driving along, and he says something about Mexicans, which is unnecessarily racist, even by my standards. The best thing about them is one bullet.
You know what I like about wetbacks, Charlie? They're just one bullet.
I don't even know what that's meant to mean. He just points a gun at one of them and says one bullet. That's probably true for anybody.
Everybody?
I mean, it's so then he just drives past, and they're apparently in Mexico, and the police stop them, and they just drive off and get themselves killed, and nothing's ever referenced to that again.
I don't even remember that.
Well, it was right at the beginning, and it's not a dramatic scene. It's not cut from another movie. I didn't get it.
I vaguely remember that. I remember him pointing the gun and saying the one-shot thing or one-bullet thing.
Yeah, I have no idea what that's meant to mean. It doesn't sound tough or creepy. It just sounded weird.
Yeah, that whole scene was
The whole thing.
unnecessary.
And you got these two guys, and one's being all unnecessarily tough, although he looks like my mum, and the other guy is sort of looking at him condescendingly, and he just looks just like he wishes he hadn't taken this job.
Well, that's how everybody in this movie looks.
Yeah. And then the car explodes and rolls over and doesn't have an engine, and there's a big metal rod where it's being towed by the police car.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
it's
forgot
all
about
on
that.
shot. And it's just done really, really badly.
Yeah, you can easily see the tow rig in
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 different shots.
Yeah, it's just bad.
It's
It's a real explosion.
Yeah, but it's horrible to the point that it's hilarious.
Yeah. It was classy, but you can't follow the story because there isn't one. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, there's
It's
no
just-
reason for anyone to get to or from A to B.
Yeah. It's like
They just show up at places.
Yeah, that's all they've done. They've put in scenes that they think the audience would like. They've put the cute kid who's also a badass on a bike.
For no reason.
He's jumping. I mean, at one point he goes along, turns into a guy twice his size, and does a big jump off.
Oh, yeah,
he
into
literally
traffic.
doubles the size. Yeah, and he's off. And he's only about 12, 13 or something.
Yeah.
And he's a badass on the bike, which is never used or referenced because a good writer would roll that in somewhere.
Well, it's they put that in at the end, but then it never leads to
Yeah.
anything.
Just to get the audience, so kids can say, "Oh, that's cool. I wish I had a bike like that."
Yeah, and then nothing happens.
No. They got Chuck Norris doing his spin kicks. They've got the bad guys getting their asses kicked, but not killed.
Yep.
You never see anyone.
You've got a couple of mediocre chase scenes that aren't really chase scenes.
No. And even there's a big spin kick scene where he beats dozens and dozens of people, and that ends when someone just hits him with a wrench.
Yeah.
And it's over. I mean, well, did he imagine that? Did that happen at the beginning? I mean, there's dozens
Is
of
he
guys.
dead?
Do I care at this point? The dog doesn't seem to. He's off in the other direction. He goes down like a sack of potatoes, and he's rescued by the dog.
Yeah.
But all these scenes kind of make sense, but it's like it was written scene by scene. We need to put this scene in, we need to put this scene in. How do we connect them? Who fucking
gives a
cares?
fuck?
Who cares? Who gives a shit? It was just an assemblage of nonsense.
Yeah,
We need a
you
villain.
don't really ask those questions when you're
No.
watching it. It's after the fact when you're thinking about it.
We were kind of looking for any hidden messages, any symbolism, and it's just nonsense.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing. I was
Yeah.
mostly just laughing at the retardation.
He brought his notepad.
I didn't make a single note. I don't know why I brought a notepad. I thought I might have to make notes for future things to remember that.
It was an ostensibly bad but hilariously funny movie. It was, if you can just, it was I like a B movie.
Yeah.
I like a nonsense film. I like to watch bullshit movies. It's often a lot more fun than watching a
No,
a good movie.
I highly recommend Top Dog. It is not an 8, but like
Oh, no.
on a list of recommendations,
Well, what is it?
It would be like an 8 out of 10. It would be high up there.
What is it running at? Have a look.
Like
on
at the
IMDb.
actual.
Yeah, on the IMDb. What is it?
Well, I
running
know that I was just looking before we started, and
at? Yeah, because we were supposed to have done this days ago, but we didn't.
their budget was $6 million,
6 million.
and their box office earnings were $5.1 million.
Right.
Yeah, so 1995, written by
fair,
Aaron Norris.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, to have lost money back in the 80s when this was, it didn't look that terrible.
Well, no, this wasn't the 80s. This was 1995.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it looked like the 80s. It had bad cameras, bad sound.
And it looks like all the writers have pretty much just worked on previous Chuck Norris projects.
Right.
Overkill, Walker, Texas Ranger, Forest Warrior.
Was he making Walker, Texas Ranger while this film was in production? Because that goes
Only
back
for a year or two.
Right. Well, no, I mean, that was his kind of comeback, wasn't it? Because he disappeared from earning money for a while, so he came back with Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
So this was, I can see this film was a cash grab. I can see why he did it.
Well, I mean, it apparently was his brother's project. His brother wrote and directed it.
Has he done anything else?
Nothing noteworthy.
I'm shocked.
Oh yeah, shocked.
I mean, the direction is not that terrible, especially by today's standard. But it's just, there's nothing there.
It was
The writing is worse.
It was edited better than Color Out of Space.
That's true. Well, it didn't take itself as seriously as Color Out of Space. Color Out of Space thought it was going to be a dramatic movie.
Yeah. And it's not.
Yeah. That needed to have leaned in more into its just ridiculousness. If you're going to make that a ridiculous movie.
Like this one.
Yeah. Well, look, in a lot of ways, they've got things in common. I mean, it wanted to be Lethal Weapon, badly. There was lots of callbacks to other 80s, I guess, and early 90s movies and better films. You know, you look at the action icons of the time. I mean, you've got a bit of Lethal Weapon in there. You've got Die Hard in there. He's all of these people. He wants to be all these people. He talks like Clint Eastwood. He's
trying to talk.
Yeah,
like
he's got this,
Eastwood.
and he's kind of squeaky.
Yeah.
he's not really got a deep masculine voice. He's quite a small guy. He looks pretty small.
I'm not sure how big Chuck Norris is.
I don't think he's very big, and he's not particularly well built. And he's starting to show his age quite badly.
Well, he would have been, what, 50s or some shit in the 90s?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, it showed. He looked like he was aging well, but aging.
Yeah. Well, everybody does.
Well, not well.
I'm not sure Chuck Norris was ever in the club either.
No.
So he never
He's
really
never-
rose to anything.
No. I don't think he's the type.
No.
I don't think he would have bought into that.
I think he buys into his own bullshit too hard.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But he's a B actor at best. I think his most popular, or at least his most famous roles, were opposite Bruce
Seen
Lee.
every episode of all 7 seasons of Walker, Texas Ranger.
What am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to laugh at this? I mean, why would you do that? Why would you watch this? I want to know. What made you watch 23 episodes per season, right?
Probably something like that. They were 45
normal run.
minutes
Normal run.
without commercials.
Okay, 7 years?
Yeah.
Why?
Why not?
No. There's reasons for that. I mean,
Well, this was before the internet, so I mean, especially if
how
you
did
didn't
get
have
them? Where
cable.
did you download them from?
No, you watched them on the television.
I don't understand.
You only had like 5 or 6 channels. It came on CBS, which was one of the low number channels, 3 or 4 or some shit like that. Boom. Walker, Texas Ranger.
You guys really are like a third world country, aren't you? You really are. Oh my God.
That's the same era of television that brought us such cinematic genius as Xena, Warrior Princess.
That was good.
Hercules with Kevin Sorbo.
Which one was a spin-off of the... It was Hercules first and Xena was the spin-off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But a better show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen either.
No, they're terrible.
Yeah. I gathered. Yeah.
It's unwatchable nonsense. But
my brother probably liked it.
I actually do more and more enjoy going back and watching things like that these days. Just because it's so much better than the absolute dog shit that they're producing now.
Yeah, that's probably going to upset YouTube's algorithm more, that statement. Apparently Netflix is bitching about that. Why are people watching the old stuff? Because it's not fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Or at least we know it's terrible. We can watch it in context.
I still like Altered Carbon.
I didn't like it.
I like the setting, and so I'm willing to put up with the plot holes.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It felt like it was mostly filler. For one thing, there were some good ideas in it, but it was just a lot of filler. Took itself too seriously.
Well, yeah, it's just a reason to put a guy into that world.
Yeah.
Because especially with the ending is very anticlimactic.
Yeah, and you spent so long getting there, and it's wasn't worth it. It was a bit of an effort. I wasn't a fan. I didn't watch the second series, which I've heard is much worse.
Yeah. It's still watchable, but it's a lot more woke.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Anthony Mackie did well enough as the character. It's the extra characters that they bring into it.
Anthony Mackie?
Yeah.
The Hawk guy?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't even know he was in it.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. What was the name of the guy who played RoboCop? The guy that's in the first one?
Like the original RoboCop.
No.
The remake.
Yeah.
Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, that guy. Don't mind him as an actor, but he took himself way too seriously. I heard he had some chest surgery because he had a collapsed sternum or something. He had that fixed and bulked up a little bit and just strutted around like a pigeon. He just looked ridiculous. I didn't like him in that at all. It kind of looked like he thought his career was going to be more action-based in the future, and that didn't happen.
Well, I haven't heard very good things about that, what is it, a John Woo action movie that he made not too long ago? Silent Night.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it could just be review bombing, but the things that I was seeing about it didn't look very...
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
John Woo? He's okay, likeable action film nonsense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
He's
end up
probably
giving
getting
it a
old
shot.
though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Some of these guys need to just give up. John Carpenter. I mean, The Thing and Halloween. He was great, and then it just got worse and worse and worse. And then some of the worst films I've ever seen are his most recent. They're just awful. They just annoy me.
James Cameron.
Oh, he's completely lost it. Yeah. Some of these guys. I mean, I'm an artist. I write novels, but there's going to be a point where I think, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this anymore. They're just not good. I can't maintain the quality. And I just don't want to be remembered for that guy who just didn't know when to quit.
Clint Eastwood was directing something the other day, and somebody had posted a picture of it on, or not a picture, but a video of it on Twitter. And I mean, it was like if Biden was behind the camera. Like, you're done, Clint. Yeah. You're done, buddy.
Well, he was supposed to be. He did Gran Torino, and he said that was going to be his swan song. That was going to be his last. I'm not sure if he said it was going to be his last movie that he was in or directed, and it was a nice ending. It was a nice way to close his career when he was still.
That.
It's decent, and he was still young enough to act, but then he's done loads more since, and it's just progressively worse.
Yeah.
He's completely lost it as an actor. I don't know about direction because I'm just not interested. But now he's going to be remembered for that guy that just didn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Which, at least we can give Chuck Norris that. He knew when to stop.
Or people knew when to stop investing in him. I don't know. But, well, he didn't, did he? He did the Where all these old guys go to die. What's that movie? The Expendables. He did those, didn't he?
Who?
Chuck Norris.
Well, he's in one of them as a cameo. Right. He just shows up for a couple of scenes and tells a Chuck Norris joke.
Right. Takes his money and runs.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, those films are fucking terrible.
You know what we should do next? Thunder in Paradise.
Your train derailed.
No, Thunder in Paradise.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh,
I thought it was... Oh, okay.
It is top dog levels of terribly funny.
Thunder in Paradise.
And it's trying so hard to be serious. It's not Chuck Norris. It's Hulk Hogan.
Is this the boat thing?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan and some guy whose name I can never remember, with a boat.
It's the Knight Rider boat, right?
It's if Knight Rider was a boat.
Right.
Oh,
and it's much bigger on the inside, right?
Yes, it's like a fucking TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's got all these cool transformations. It's fucking gloriously bad.
I don't feel like we should do a whole TV show, but...
They opened with a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, okay.
Like a standalone plot movie.
Okay. I noticed on one of those torrent sites that we never ever go on. Actually, I go on them all the time because it's legal here. There's no copyright. Airwolf was up. Do you remember that from the 80s? The helicopter?
I know what it is, but I've never watched it.
It was good. The first series was very good. We should do a show on 80s things. They started off with a TV movie. Fairly big budget at the time. They had a real helicopter. They kitted it out, bolted some parts on the side, and apparently it handled better than the normal one because it had the extra weight and it was spread out better and it actually worked quite well. And I've seen there's a YouTube channel where they've got a genuine pilot watching the scenes. These guys are really impressive. You know, he said they're taking a lot of risks.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the time, the helicopter couldn't be CG. They had to have a real chopper.
Some of the effects are terrible. When a missile's fired, they've literally got a red cut-out missile glowing, just flying across the screen. Not even just a circle. It's just you can see it's a missile. It's got red wings. But that was up for at the running at the top of the site. You've got the most popular downloads, and that was up for about 2 or 3 days. So again, people are downloading the old stuff. They're getting the old stuff, and it's all
that there is left to watch.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it as a kid. But now it's aged really, really badly, and it's only a remake of Firefox. It's just a bodged up version of Firefox.
We could do Chips.
I've never seen Chips. I like the movie.
Well, that's the point. Is you liked the movie and I liked the show.
Did you see the movie?
No, I've not seen the movie yet.
It didn't do well because people who liked the show didn't like the movie. It's not even a satire. It's just a comedy that takes the piss out of it. But because I've never seen it, I didn't have a dog in that fight, and I did like the fact that there's motorbike scenes, and it was quite funny, and motorbikes. I liked it. Stunt work was very good.
I mean, Dax Shepard is usually fairly funny. Michael Pena is usually pretty funny.
Dax Shepard did all his own stunt riding, except maybe the jumps. I'm not sure he did those, but he was pulling endos on a huge... I've had BMW 1200s. And
those are heavy bikes.
Very big bikes. And he was doing some very impressive stunt work. If that was really him, then absolutely hats off to him. I liked it. I thought it was a fun film. Seen it a couple of times. But, yeah.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
Yeah. For some reason on my YouTube, it's recommended Starsky and Hutch. Again, I've never seen an episode. The pilot movie. I could watch that. I'd see where that goes.
There's a fucking, I won't say terrible, but a moderately funny Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
remake.
I saw it. I don't like them too. I don't think they're funny. I didn't think it was funny.
There's a couple of funny moments, but overall, I would say no.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy that. And I've never seen the TV show, so again, no dog in this fight, but I just didn't think it was very funny.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Starsky and Hutch.
I think it was, well, okay, I've never seen it, so maybe I don't deserve an opinion, but it just seemed like, what's the catch? What's the hook here? It's just another 2 cops. Okay, they've got a cool car, but that's pretty much, they've all got that.
Yeah.
What's special about these two? Why would I want to watch this show?
Yeah, I mean, the buddy cop genre had been pretty much filled up at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, there was lots of shows with an interesting twist or interesting hook, and I didn't get why I should waste my time on that one. Even as a kid, I just wasn't really interested.
Nobody cares what you think.
We barely talked about the film. I mean, what was there to talk about? It was a good laugh. We were laughing all the way through. It was just utter
It was
nonsense.
fun.
They did wear the clown masks at the end.
Did they?
When the dog, I might be talking shit, when the dog drops the crate on the villain, knocks him out, pretty sure he's wearing a clown mask.
Oh, no, not that guy.
He drops something on him, and then there's this...
The giant crate, and then he's sticking out of the crate.
Was that a clown mask?
No, that was just his face.
Okay.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend this movie if you've never seen it before, and you go into it knowing that it's just going to be nonsense. It's just something to laugh at.
It is very much aimed at kids. So there's no blood. I don't think anyone bleeds, do they?
Minor blood, but not really.
No, it's a kids movie. It's like an episode of the A-Team or something. It's very child friendly.
And yet somehow I think it had a PG-13 rating. One too many spin kicks.
Yeah. Don't be ridiculous. You can't have too many spin kicks. At least Chuck Norris says so.
Well, the rating.
How much input do you think he had on the script?
Well, his brother wrote and directed it, but there was also 2 other guys listed as writers, and they've also worked on Chuck Norris projects. Right. So I feel like that's probably just members of the Chuck Norris writing team.
Yeah, because it was very uneven. You know, you'd be having a fight, and then someone would have something dropped on them, and there'd be cartoon sound effects. What's going on with this?
Do you want me to take you seriously or not, Chuck?
Yeah. It was very uneven. It was just kind of a weird movie.
It is.
But it was a laugh.
Drink when you watch it.
Drink when you watch it, and watch it with friends.
Yeah.
Don't watch it when you've got a date. People who watch this film don't have dates. It was, it's.
Don't watch this in a crowded place.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, or if you're operating heavy machinery. What gun did he use in Texas Ranger thing? Was it a revolver?
It's been so long, I couldn't tell you. No, he had a semi-auto pistol.
Glock?
No, it was something like a Beretta or a Taurus.
Well, that's what I was thinking, because in this he's got a silver Beretta 92, which was very, very popular at the time. You've got Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, they're all carrying, and it was an approved weapon in many states.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense, but his had to be silver, which I don't know was ever approved. I know the black one was, but I don't know if the silver one would have been. Don't know, because it wouldn't have been the same. It would have been stainless steel and alloy frame. Anyway, so his had to be special, had to stand out. And I wondered if that was a choice, because it didn't seem to make sense in that film.
Maybe it was just bring your gun to work day.
Well, maybe it was the old-fashioned white hat. You know, he's got the white gun. He's the hero, the riding a white horse thing. I just wondered if he did that. Maybe. He's the kind of guy that would.
I don't know. Is he smart enough to do that?
Oh, I don't think he's an idiot. I read a blog that mentioned him, and they said he's no fool. He did a couple of small movies when he was young, and he took all the money from that and invested in the dojos. He was a smart guy, at least when he was younger, before the ego hit. He was apparently a pretty smart, shrewd businessman, and everybody that I read about just respected him as a person. And they said he could genuinely hold his own against someone like Bruce Lee. They could hold him to a draw.
He did fight in tournaments all around the world.
Yeah. He wasn't just a pretender.
Yeah. He wasn't Steven Seagaling his way through Hollywood.
No. They should turn that into a verb. He's Seagaling. Yeah. No, he's chucking. I just wonder how much input he had in this, how much he actually got to say about what his character did, because there was no need for him to be a martial artist.
No.
That scene with the spin kick
climax. It was just unnecessary. He's going to lose anyway. There's hundreds of them. They're coming in everywhere. And he's holding his own for quite a long time, and then it's all just over.
They kind of dogpile him
Yeah.
and drag him down.
Yeah. And there's no need for that scene. He could have just surrendered. And any other movie, he would have surrendered.
Or he could have just got jumped walking through a door, hit him in the back of the head.
I think in going back a bit, I think in Lethal Weapon, that's what happens. He gets captured and he just hands over his gun. Yeah, okay, gun to the back of my head. I know I can't get out of this. But no, Chuck Norris has to hold it. They have to show off. And there was no need for it. And I kind of get, they were showcasing the Chuck Norris, because I actually feel like they thought that's what the audience wanted. We want to see the Chuck Norris.
Well, yeah, Chuck Norris was the draw
Yeah.
to the movie about the dog detective.
The police captain, Callahan, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Dirty
yeah.
Harry's name. The dog was Reno, Unarmed and Dangerous. I've seen him in a few things. He's...
The captain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was relatively famous.
I can't remember anything from the time. It's been so long, but I've seen him in a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet if you did a search, you'd go, oh, yeah, I remember. But the girl, the kid, I don't think did anything.
He was a Disney star. He did Disney movies. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. But there's no... It was a B movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was a B movie. I kind of feel like you've got the big ones. You've got K9, followed by Turner and Hooch, which I haven't seen, but I feel like there was probably still some meat on the bones there.
It's okay.
Yeah, and then this was a pale imitation.
Yeah.
Probably just like copying that formula. It wanted to edge towards Lethal Weapon, but it didn't want to go too adult. It didn't want to have that grittiness about it. But the grittiness was still there in places where it didn't fit. And it just felt like a very uneven mess of a movie.
Like
in a hilarious way.
Yeah, you can't take it seriously at all. And if you're not going to drink, maybe don't watch it.
Yeah. I would say one of my favourite B movies. It would be in my top 10 as a drink and watch with your mates movie. I would say it's in my top 10 of just ridiculously nonsense films, up there with Godzilla. The early Godzilla movies, they were great. I like Hammer horror films as well. I like the nonsense of them. They are a bit samey, but some of them are just hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't sure going into it. I haven't seen this movie in decades, and I was not disappointed. It was ridiculous nonsense all the way through.
Yeah.
And infinitely entertaining compared to the shit they're making today.
Yeah. Actually, you should have a drink every time Chuck Norris kicks someone through a fence. Because that happened a lot as well. Because fences are cheap.
Just any time Chuck Norris kicks anyone or anything, have a drink. And you'll be dead by the end of the film.
Yeah. And have a cigarette every time he's jealous of the dog. And again, jealous of the dog. I feel like somebody put that in as a joke.
They make the two characters so much alike that's got to be the shallow philosophical idea behind the writing is these are the same character.
Yeah.
They're going through the same hero's journey.
Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog failed.
He was suspended.
Yeah. We don't know what for. And there's nothing...
We're never really told.
Well, there's no evidence of anything. He seems like fairly... In that universe, he seems...
The insinuation is that he did something violent.
Yeah. But he never really oversteps.
No.
And everyone seems to respect him.
I do like the scene at the end, the very last scene of the movie, where the dog goes to steal the Pope's scarf and drags the Pope down the street.
Yeah, I was police squad all the way. What was that all about?
Because it made me laugh.
It's a trained police dog, and now it's just going to steal the Pope's
scarf, whatever that fucking thing is called.
Yeah, that made no sense.
And chokes him with it.
Yeah. If it was a better film, I'd be thinking that's a symbol of something. Yeah. But it was all backwards anyway. It was nonsense.
I mean, to be fair, the red scarf is the only storyline that is consistent and makes sense all the way through the film. We open with the dog having the red scarf and stealing it from the old man, and we end with the dog stealing a red scarf.
You've forgotten the montage, haven't you?
Which montage?
The montage where they're dressing the dog up in different costumes.
Oh fuck! I did forget about that. It is.
It's great. It makes no sense. And then they drive off in a car.
He drives off in a car.
The kid drives off in a car. What?
No, the dog drives off
in the car,
and the kid runs up to where the car just was and just kind of smiles and shakes his head.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's. And there's a couple of times where it almost looks like a man in a dog suit. The dog isn't quite right. The dimensions are right, but it's jumping up at people. It looks a little off. And I did wonder, is this a costume?
Well, they might have done some movie magic stuff to make the dog bigger than it was, too. Because at one point, the dog stands up head to head with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be a huge fucking dog.
If it was that dog.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was multiple animals, because it was just so low budget.
Yeah.
It was just...
Oh, they blew their whole budget on that opening couple of explosions.
Well, the car, I mean... The Taurus roll in itself, those two car rolls, they were pretty well done, and the Taurus anyway, we could see the tow hook, but that was just bad angles.
Yeah.
If that had been planned better, that was a good stunt, good enough.
Yeah. Shit exploded. That's always cool.
Yeah. Very much in line with any TV show at the time. That was it was good enough. Yeah. It was good, but bad angles. You could tell it was just slightly inexperienced. Or low quality.
Or just, you don't catch, sometimes you just don't catch things in the editing room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is. It's not a recommendation for or against, it's just, it is what it is.
Oh, it has my seal of approval.
Oh, yeah, I liked it too. We had a blast on this one. This was a fun movie. What we should have done is recorded our reactions to the movie, because they were probably...
funnier.
Yeah.
More lively.
And probably more bannable. Yeah.
Things were said.
Things were said. Mistakes were made. And enjoyed. It was, so maybe that was not a good idea.
Well, I mean, that's why we edit these things.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was, I'd give it, what is the rating on IMDb?
Oh, I didn't even look.
Oh, no, we do. It's 4.2, isn't it? Or
something like that.
Yeah, we did it
It's
before.
low.
It's a fair rating. It's not a good film, but that rating doesn't take into account how much fun it is to watch as a bad film. As a bad film, I think it's a good film.
I give it 7 out of 10 paws.
7 out of 10 paws?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7 out of 10 piles of dog shit for this film. Yeah. It's almost a full pile.
7 out of 10 roundhouse kicks.
Yeah. It's an entertaining film, but that's it. Entertainment value, non-deliberate entertainment value of this film is...
Don't go into this movie expecting anything coherent or philosophical.
No. Or good. It's sad Chuck Norris. Sad Chuck Norris. Old Chuck Norris. Trying to be young Chuck Norris and trying to be Lethal Weapon. But it was a good laugh.
It was.
Yeah. So what should we do next time?
I have no fucking clue.
Who cares? Everything is terrible.
I think we should do a good movie that's been ruined by ESG.
Fuck, man, pick one.
No, a good movie ruined by ESG.
Yeah, but what do you mean a good movie? A movie that potentially
movie,
could have been a good movie.
What should have been a great movie, like the one we did where it was The Girl in the Mirror, when you could see there was two writers. You had the good writer and you had a feminist, and it was two stories mixed together. And the murderer ended up being the hero because the men deserved it because they had sex with her, even though they were paying her. So the men deserved it, and something like that. A movie where by all rights, it should have been a good movie, but ESG destroyed it. I think we should do that. And just to show how this stuff is a cancer.
That's still a long list.
Yeah, it's still a long list, but not as big as you think, because there are so few good movies where even the concept is good these days.
Fair. But it'll require some research.
Yeah,
I'm not going to think of one off the top of my head here.
And you can't say Star Wars. Rey should have. She didn't ruin the first movie. Well, the end.
No, Rian Johnson destroyed Star Wars with The Last Jedi.
The first one wasn't that terrible.
I was still on board after The Phantom Menace, and it was
after the Phantom Menace,
or not The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
And The Last Jedi, I went to see that in theaters, and I was like, nah, I'm done. Fuck this.
Yeah, that was what turned me off as well. But no, I thought Rey was, you've got to do something. No one wants to see Luke again. Let's do something new.
According to pretty much all of the quote-unquote bullshit, the online sources, that was Lucas's choice.
I can see it, yeah. You don't want to do Luke again. You want a new character. A female, no problem.
They went with the idea of passing the torch to the younger generation. That was out of Lucas's...
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for? His outlines of the next episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. So I don't think that film was destroyed by ESG. I think that was just... it was, but it was at a different level, different way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ESG does destroy it because you've got random, needless inserts like Rose Tico that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. The sidelining of John Boyega.
He shouldn't have been there either.
Well, he shouldn't have been there, but he's there, and they did fuck that character over. Like, they set that character up to be more than just a stormtrooper. And then it just turns out that, no, he's just a whiny little stormtrooper. That's it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, including John Boyega, thinks he got fucked over, but I don't think he had the charisma or the chops to do it.
Oh, none of them are good actors.
No, I just feel like his character, it just ran its course, and I think he got written out.
Oscar Isaac seems like a decent actor. But
he's pretty decent.
Yeah, but his character, again, is...
He should have been carrying the movie.
Yeah.
He should have been taking...
He's supposed to be the new Han Solo.
The Han Solo role, yeah. As a completely new character, but he should have been the lovable rogue. You know, the gifted pilot, the brash arsehole.
Lucky.
Yeah. Yeah,
they just fucked that whole thing up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll think about it.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Like, subscribe, share.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah, like the top dog you are. I said the thing.
You said the thing. I hate this job.
Dune 2, what a masterpiece.
Oh, it's wonderful.
What a great film.
The best movie of the last decade.
Almost the best movie of the last decade or two. Or three.
Or
3 or 4.
Yeah. It was amazing. I'm at a loss for words.
Words? What are words?
I loved Zendaya as the block of wood.
The block of wood. I like the guy who looks like he molests chickens. He's my favourite.
Yeah.
And what a director. So visual. So
breathtaking.
So breathtaking. Yeah, I'd stopped breathing several times. It was awesome. It was a fantastic film.
It was so good that I can't remember a single thing that happened in it.
I was so drunk that I can't remember a single thing that happened to it, but I still loved it.
Oh,
I'm still left with this emotional resonance.
I'll carry that with me for the rest of my life.
Like cancer.